Hamlet is the tragedy written by William Shakespeare around 1600. It tells the story of Prince Hamlet of Denmark, who is deeply troubled after the sudden death of his father, King Hamlet. His mother, Queen Gertrude, quickly marries his uncle Claudius, who has seized the throne. One night, Hamlet encounters the ghost of his father, who reveals that Claudius murdered him. Torn between doubt and duty, Hamlet struggles with his conscience, plans revenge, and descends into deep melancholy. His actions lead to the death of many, including Ophelia, Polonius, Laertes, Queen Gertrude, King Claudius, and finally Hamlet himself. The play explores the theme of betrayal, madness, revenge, and the uncertainty of life and death. Hamlet is one of the most profoundly complex and psychologically rich characters in all of literature, created by William Shakespeare at the height of his creative powers. Hamlet transcends the boundaries of time and culture. His inner turmoil, existential reflections, and moral struggles make him not just a character in a play but a mirror for the human soul. The reason readers and audiences return to him century after century is because Hamlet is not easily understood. He is endlessly mysterious, layered with contradictions that reflects the chaos and complexity of life itself. From the outset, Hamlet is a man in crisis. The sudden death of his father and the hasty remarriage of his mother to his uncle Claudius shake his world to the core. This domestic betrayal mirrors the broader moral corruption of the Danish state. Hamlet is torn between conflicting obligations to his dead father, to his still living mother, to the people of Denmark, and above all, to himself. Shakespeare presents him as a man caught in an impossible situation, one that forces him to confront questions of duty, loyalty, justice, and morality. One of the most striking features of Hamlet's character is his introspection. He is a thinker in a world that rewards action. His famous soliloquies, especially "To be or not to be," are not mere philosophical musings but anguished meditations on the meaning of life, death, and human suffering. He is accurately aware of the futility and pain of existence, and yet, even in his darkest moments, he does not surrender to despair. He questions, analyzes, delays, and criticizes himself for doing so. This self awareness makes him incredibly modern in many ways. Hamlet anticipates the psychological realism of the 19th century novels and the existential anxieties of the 20th century. Hamlet's inner world is dominated by language. He uses words not only to understand the world but to reshape it. His wit, sarcasm, and rhetorical skill allow him to manipulate others and shield himself from emotional vulnerability. Yet his brilliance with language also isolates him. His dialogues with Polonius, Rosencrantz, Guildenstern, and even Claudius are filled with irony and double meanings. He speaks in riddles, and often his words have more power than his actions. This resilience of language becomes both his strength and his weakness. He can cut down opponents with a sentence but cannot bring himself to stab Claudius when the moment arises. Hamlet's inaction has often been interpreted as a tragic flaw. Critics from Samuel Taylor Coleridge to Sigmund Freud have tried to diagnose his hesitation. Some say it is overthinking, others believe it is due to moral scruples. Hamlet wants to be sure Claudius is guilty before acting. Freud famously suggested Hamlet suffers from an Oedipus complex, subconsciously identifying with Claudius, the man who did what Hamlet himself secretly wishes he could do. kill his father and marry his mother. While that reading is controversial, it highlights the psychological depth of the character. Hamlet's delay is not simple cowardice, it is the result of a deep philosophical and moral struggle. His relationships with women are central to understanding his psyche. He is tormented by Gertrude's remarriage, which he sees as a betrayal not just for his father but of moral order itself. Whether his disgust stems from jealousy, a puritanical disgust for sexuality, or a more subconscious desire remains ambiguous. His treatment of Ophelia too is troubling. He seems to love her but also lashes out at her cruelly. He tells her to go to a nunnery, a word that in Shakespeare's time could mean both convent and brothel, highlighting his confusion and anger. His misogyny may reflect his personal disappointment or a broader disillusionment with a world that no longer makes sense. One of the great debates surrounding Hamlet is whether he is truly mad or simply pretending. Shakespeare deliberately blurs the line between sanity and madness. Hamlet himself claims he is only mad north northwest, suggesting he is aware of his performance. Yet at times his behavior seems genuinely erratic and self destructive. He kills Polonius impulsively, frightens his mother, and causes Ophelia's breakdown. He is feigning madness so well that he loses control. Or is his madness a defense mechanism against unbearable grief and rage? Shakespeare leaves the answer open, allowing audience to see both possibilities. Despite his failings, Hamlet remains a deeply sympathetic character. He feels more than he acts, and that emotional intensity makes him human. His fall, when it comes, is devastating, not because he was powerful in the traditional sense, he never sits on the throne, but because he was morally and intellectually superior. His death is not the fall of a mighty king, but the extinguishing of an uniquely gifted soul. He takes nearly everyone with him: Claudius, Gertrude, Laertes, Ophelia, and leaves a kingdom in ruins. But he also leaves a profound moral legacy. Whether or not Whether or not Hamlet fits Aristotle's definition of a tragic hero is debatable. According to Aristotle, a tragic hero is a noble figure whose downfall is brought about by a personal flaw and a twist of fate. Hamlet is certainly noble by birth and by character. His flaw might be indecision, or his obsession with truth, or even his pride in his own intellect. Some critics argue that Shakespeare redefined tragedy for the modern world, making room for heroes who are flawed not by hubris alone but by doubt, confusion, and moral complexity. Arthur Miller's vision of tragedy as something that can affect the common man aligns with this idea. Hamlet is a prince, but he suffers like an ordinary person, paralyzed by grief, confused by duty, terrified by death, and disillusioned by human weakness. Ultimately, Hamlet endures because he is not a figure of clear moral guidance or decisive action. He is someone who lives through pain and wrestles with questions that have no easy answers. He is not the hero who triumphs, but the one who understands. That is what makes him timeless, whether see, seen through the lens of classical tragedy, psychoanalysis, existentialism, or modern humanism. Hamlet continues to reflect the infinite variety of the human condition. His journey is ours, a struggle to make sense of a world that often makes no sense at all.